can't believe I'm saying this. I'm about to get into a French ambulance. Are we just really bad at motorhoming? Your wig's on straight. I've just retraced our steps around the campsite. Can't see it anywhere. Chinook.
Hi, I'm Daz and she's B, and we're on a 12-week road trip round France with our boys and our greyhound Sammy. Join us as we explore the history, beauty and fun we can squeeze in while getting to grips with the challenges of working and home educating on the road as a family in France, living a life less ordinary as we escape in the motorhome.
So far in France, a window has flown from our motorhome.
The whole window's gone.
I nearly drove over a bollard. Our toilet door fell off. We've walked and cycled kilometres, explored the chateau of the Loire, had loads of fun, embraced the arts, savoured the tranquillity, learnt the historic importance of a region and enjoyed being together as a family. In the last vlog we stayed in the Puy de Fou motorhome air for dinner before popping out to pick up our 18-year-old from Nantes airport. We got there just as Puy de Fou opened, excited for the day ahead.
So we're in Puy de Fou, we made it. I'm so pleased. We've worked really hard to get here early, but we weren't able to park our camping car or our motorhome in a section that was near to the entrance, so we've had to stay in the camping car park and walk a distance away. But when I looked at the kennels last night and I look at our motorhome, actually our motorhome is far more comfortable. We're in Puy de Fou now and we managed to get our tickets via Get Your Guide. So we panicked a little bit because if you buy them in advance they are cheaper than the on-gate prices by about €11, which makes a massive difference when we're a family of 3 adults and 3 children. So we panicked a little bit because it was going to suddenly turn our £230 day into a £300 day there or thereabouts. So frantically as we were driving to Puy de Fou this morning, on having had about 4 hours sleep in a very, very noisy park up, we found a site called Get Your Guide and we were able to get the rates we would have got if we booked in advance yesterday. Puy de Fou don't offer on the day online purchases. It's doable, you can still get that reduced rate. They do have something called a family pass in France for large families, but you need to have a special card. One of the ladies suggested you could try and use your passport, but we didn't try that today. We were just delighted to get the online price.
Puy de Fou is a theme park like no other, and some say it is the best in the world, even though it has no rides. Located in the Pays de la Loire region, 2 million visitors enjoy the day and night jaw-dropping spectacles featuring pyrotechnics, fireworks, amazing feats of engineering, full costumes and a cast of 3,650 actors. The idea was born in 1977 when Philippe de Villiers created a show using an association of 600 members at the site of a castle ruin that he discovered. It became a success and now has a micro-industry of actors and trainers due to the stunts, sword fighting and horse riding. There are 26 shows taking place throughout the day across a beautifully landscaped medieval park, from Vikings to chariot racing to the Three Musketeers. The Cine is the main show, which takes place in the evening, boasting the largest stage in the world, involving 1,200 actors and 800 fireworks. An excellent app provides free translation and subtitles, but make sure you don't forget your headphones. Every day there is a map with a full list of shows that can be seen. It is a sprawling site, so it would be impossible to see everything, but a train is provided from one end of the park to the other. Food and souvenirs are available all day, but it's all very expensive. There is a limit to how many people they can fit into each show, so it is a good idea to get to the doors at least 15 minutes before opening. There's always something to look at whilst you wait for the show to start. One show we knew we had to return to was the Ballet of the Ghost Birds, as Will was only 6 last time we were here and Indy was just a baby. 200 birds fly across the sky, some absolutely enormous, and they get very close, as you will now see, and please excuse the screaming. As you can see, it is themed beautifully, and if you need to leave, as I did several times to see to Sammy, you can get your hand stamped. Roll on to the next day.
Morning everybody. From a rather overcast day in France. Yeah, this is working well. I'm just choking Stampy with the water. So we're at the filling station. Unfortunately our pre-flight checks the other day I must have gone to pop because I walked around the side of the van today and there was no cap on the water, and I seem to remember wanting to get it out of my hand and resting it here, and then we drove off somewhere, no doubt, and fall in the road. So Bee's gone to check at reception to see if anyone's handed one in. But yeah, missing cap here, broken wing mirror here, and a missing window up there. This side of Stampy is looking about as rough as it could do. Still, we've got somewhere nice to go to later, so chin up.
Are we just really bad at motorhoming? I've just retraced our steps around the campsite, can't see it anywhere. Right, yeah, it's quite okay. So we think we might have lost a cap on the way to pick up Wills from the airport the other night. So there is a mass exodus today from Puy de Fou campsite. They've even got staff members on to help, because if you look at this, you've got a big queue of people who are all wanting to get rid of their grey waste, top up with water and get rid of their black waste. So this is the first time since we've been here the last 2.5 days where I've seen it absolutely mental. Wow, it's going to be a long wait. So this is the first slow morning we've had for about 4 or 5 mornings. So it's been really nice just chilling out and not doing very much. And working out where we're going next, because the weather is kind of inclement today. It's supposed to be a little bit warmer and a little bit less blustery and rainy the further south we go, which makes sense, but we're not going too much further southwest, just going to Sables and then on to La Rochelle. But yeah, just trying to find somewhere that can have us for 2 nights is something a little bit more fun for the kids.
With a campsite found, it was a washing and shopping mission next.
So another cool thing about most French supermarkets is that they do have washing and drying facilities right outside the front. So I've just put on all of our smalls, and it's going to take half an hour to get them all washed, and that was €5. And if you want to do a larger wash, it's €10. So 18 kilos for 10 euros. Is it 18 kilos? 18 kilos is €10. I think it was 8 kilos for €5, and then you can dry it as well. Whether or not we'll stay to dry it, I don't know. I think our kids might disown us. But somehow I'm going to try and get them dry maybe on the campsite, because we've got a dry afternoon. So into Hyper U we go, hopefully picking up our food for the next 2 days. And then we're driving on to the west coast, where we found a fairly reasonably priced campsite with swimming pools and water slides, and that means the kids can have some fun. Right, so we've just done a chore morning, haven't we, Daddy?
Yeah, it's not over yet, we've got to go to the petrol station, but we've managed to drive ourselves and trap ourselves in a car park. There's 3-metre high barriers all around, except for the drive-through at McDonald's, which we came up, which is a one-way road. I've had to walk round, and the only way out of it is back down the one-way road, which we're going to do now.
Okay, so
with our hazards on, possibly.
So I've got to get out and check there's no traffic coming out.
To there,
it's this bit. Okay, I can do that.
Hazards on. No one's there.
No one's there. One way, going the wrong way, down the one way. Don't do this in your driving test, Will. And we're free. Bloody English.
Well, as is obligatory nowadays, just found something. Not sure, entirely sure what the name of that dealership is, but managed to get hold of a new water cap for €16.50, which is about £15, I guess. I'm just checking that's tight on there before we head off. We're about half an hour from the Sables on the west coast. So, back to the driving.
Hey, little pickle. Well, it's cloudy today at the Sables or on the Sables, and we found ourselves a little pitch for a couple of nights just to chill out with Wills. And just over there, I believe, is the estuary. Now to try it, even though I've got brand new spanking microphones, we're not being very good at using them because obviously we're always filming on the fly. And I'm aware it's windy too, so I'll keep it brief and then I'll bring you in the motorhome. Since leaving Puy de Fou this morning, we stayed at their campsite overnight, or their motorhome camping car Air, which was €13.50, and then with taxes on top it was just coming up to €14, and that was quite nice. And we've travelled a little bit. As you probably heard, we lost our water cap, more just being a bit absent-minded and lacking in sleep probably. We're both to blame and making mistakes left, right and centre. And then on the way to Sables, Daz spotted some motorhome accessory places and managed to get a replacement. So we pulled up here, and these guys were ever so accommodating. It translates as sunny woods, Bois Soleil, and it is one of the more reasonably priced places, and sometimes it's worth just phoning them up. Even with my broken French this morning, it was just quite embarrassing, booking the place in my pyjamas next to lots of people that were getting rid of their waste on site. Yeah, I phoned them up because I couldn't find availability for Saturday and Sunday in any of the campsites in the Sables. There was a couple of them, but they wanted an absolute fortune. You know, we could have probably got ourselves a mobile home to sleep in for the same price. So I phoned these guys because it looked quite good, quite reasonably priced, and they couldn't find a space for us on the Saturday on the website. But as soon as I phoned them up, they said, oh yes, come on in, you don't even need to book, you just turn up because we have so many spaces. And here we are. We had a choice of about 10. Sometimes it's worth avoiding the website and calling them directly. As long as you can, just pitch yourself along with a little bit of French, or you say, parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît. Generally, they're willing to help. Back in the motorhome, but it's actually nearly 7:30 at night time, French time, and everybody's at the pool because the pool is brilliant. It stays open till 8 o'clock at night, so that's the latest one we've come across so far. So I decided to stay here with Sammy, tidy up a little bit because it was a bit of a mess having been in a Puy de Fou daydream for the last 2 days, and now I'm making some dinner. Now it's a very lazy dinner. We've got some ready-made noodles there. We've got some of those little thin noodles because Indy likes those. And I've got my plate of veggies because we're very much in need of some veggies at the moment. It's quite hard to be healthy whilst you're popping into the supermarket, and the kids have got lots of holiday money. They want to buy sweets, they want to buy chocolate. And when we're a bit frazzled, we want our treats as well. So tonight, even though the noodles have got plenty of salty seasoning on, we're filling up on veggies. There's all sorts going on in the cooker. It's very noisy, but these are chunks that we bought in the supermarket, and we actually bought some vegan frozen burgers as well. So things are coming on in France. Your wig's on straight. So what's your favourite thing about French swimming pools, babe? Is it these?
The enforcement of tight shorts.
I tell you what, I love the fact you've hung on to those 2010. Will, our 18-year-old who's actually in the pool, he's a lifeguard in real life. He's keeping our Phoenix alive, as well as the armbands, but he's an absolute legend. You can't believe what the lack of rules and procedures going on in this pool.
After dinner, it was time for a beautiful dog walk by the salt marshes, having no idea what disaster was about to unfold, which was unrelated to another broken hinge discovered, no doubt caused by heavy-handed teenagers.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm about to get into a French ambulance. So we spent the last couple of nights at Bois Soleil, and there were 3 water slides, and the boys seemed happy. So they all went into the pool yesterday morning. It was a bit overcast. Daz and I went in as well. We were out on the side, and then suddenly we heard this blood-curdling scream, and I could see that Indy was in a lot of pain, and Will, his big brother, was kind of pulling him out of the water, and we could see Indy's wrist, and it just looked really rather wrong. As it turned out, it was his arm, and we laid him down. A really nice guy who was apparently a fireman came and calmed him down and made him make eye contact with him. He kind of explained he was a fireman, he did this a lot. And then we got somebody from Bois Soleil to call an ambulance. It's different in France. I've learnt all of this since having a medical emergency, that they don't have a paramedic service linked to the NHS. In this country it's a private ambulance service, but they also use their fire service, and the fire service are employed to do those journeys to the hospital as well, so they have their own vehicles for that. So that was interesting because we actually drove with firefighters in the ambulance. So myself and Indy went to the nearby hospital. Luckily the nearby hospital was Sables, so it was only 10-15 minutes away, whilst everybody else stayed at the pool or stayed at the campsite because nobody felt like swimming after that. It was quite scary. We drew a lot of attention by the pool because we could see that it was serious. So that meant our 13-year-old had an x-ray, and it turned out that he had broken 2 bones in his arm. Thankfully, not seriously. They looked just like a kind of bend or fracture of both the ulna and the radius, which explained why it looked quite so odd and floppy. All it needed was a cast, but unfortunately because it was his arm and not his wrist, the cast goes all the way up to the shoulder. So our 13-year-old was not very impressed with that at all. Now, out of all of our children, I would say Indy is the one who is the daredevil, and I'm surprised he hasn't broken more bones before. He broke his finger last year, but this is the first sort of major break for him. And he's been on so many water slides, been in so many kind of like crazy sea situations. We kept saying to him, and he said, "I've been so unlucky, I've been so unlucky." We kept saying to him, well, this is the first time after many, many years of having loads of fun on water slides. So it was just bad luck, but we just feel like we've had a run of bad luck at the moment. In fact, you could say we feel like we're cursed. And then Daz came to pick us all up. And then to add insult to injury, we crossed the road very slowly because Indy was in his cast and his sling and he felt very uncomfortable. I forgot that the cars were going to be coming from the one particular side of the road, and I looked left and thought there's no cars there. Unfortunately, there was a car coming, so he beeped at us very angrily, which caused Daz to get very angry with him. He then stepped out of his vehicle and swore in French. So I blame myself for that because I was looking on the wrong side of the road, but to be honest, it had been an awful day. My nerves were frayed, and when I got back into the motorhome, I did have a little bit of a cry. Our poor old 13-year-old is absolutely beside himself because for the next 3 to 6 weeks he can't join in on all the fun things that we have planned, and also it ties us to one particular area as well because we have to return in 3 weeks to make sure that it's healing properly. I just hope, because it isn't a major fracture, it's just almost like a bend rather than a fracture. I'm hoping that it will heal quickly. Something else that was really frightening me was the fact that I know that healthcare costs over here. I think I was reading whilst I was in the hospital that the state covers 70% and residents then pay the other 30%. Thankfully, we had our global health card for Indy, and I was looking that up, and it does cover accident and emergency. I'm hoping it also covers any ongoing x-ray that he gets, but if not, then so be it. We'll just have to suck it up. But yes, travel insurance is so important, but I would highly recommend that you get your global health card, because they did take it off me with his passport and they took all the details and the numbers from there. So that accident emergency meant I didn't have to worry about money at all, and that's a horrible thing to think about when your son's in pain and he's broken a bone, but it's those ongoing costs and concerns that can have ramifications.
Coming up next time, Sammy goes swimming in the Sables alone, we catch a bus into historic La Rochelle, and we escape to the beautiful island of Ile de Ré. As ever, if you enjoyed our video, don't forget to take advantage of our no purchase necessary subscription button. Until our next escape, thanks for watching.